Imagine for a second, losing the person you love most, and somehow that deep sadness sparking a tradition celebrated all over the world.
It sounds almost like fiction, doesn't it?
It really does. Today, we're going to dig into the really quite surprising story behind Mother's Day.
It's a fascinating piece of history and, great way to pick up some English naturally.
Exactly.
Welcome to Stories to Learn English, the channel where your English gets better every day. Hit subscribe and let's get started.
So where do we start this story? It's not quite what most people probably think.
No, definitely not. We need to go back a bit. Think late 1800s West Virginia.
Right, the late 19th century and West Virginia back then.
Yeah.
Life was, well, pretty tough.
Yeah, really challenging. We were looking at the sources, and diseases like tuberculosis, typhoid fever, they were major threats.
Absolutely. And you think about the daily life, the struggles families faced, and especially mothers. Very limited support, not much medical knowledge easily available.
It puts things in perspective.
It really does. And right in the middle of this, you have this figure, Anne Reeves Jarvis.
Not someone famous or wealthy, from what we understand.
No, not at all. But she had this incredible compassion, a real drive to act in her community.
And she believed in practical action,
Right.
getting things done at the community level.
Exactly. Which leads us to her mother's work clubs.
Okay, tell us about those. They sound really interesting for the time.
They were quite something. Women organizing, focusing on improving health, teaching basic hygiene, caring for the sick neighbors.
Wow, so like a community health initiative run by mothers for the community.
Pretty much a real beacon of hope and practical help when, official medical support was scarce.
It's amazing how these sort of local efforts aimed at immediate problems actually laid the groundwork for something huge, like Mother's Day, without even realizing it.
It's a great example of grassroots impact.
Yeah.
Anne's work definitely made a difference there. But then life happens. In 1905, Anne Reeves Jarvis passed away.
After a whole lifetime of this community service.
Yeah, and this loss, it hit her daughter, Anna Jarvis, extremely hard.
You can imagine.
Yeah.
The sources suggest they were incredibly close. Mother as a mentor, a hero.
The symbol of unconditional love, really. So losing her wasn't just losing a parent, it was losing, well, a defining figure in her life.
Which must have sparked intense grief.
Deep grief, yes, but also this powerful sense of wanting to honor her mother. Not just her mother, but the idea of motherhood itself.
So the grief transformed into a sort of mission.
You could say that. Anna felt this strong calling. She envisioned a specific day, a time set aside for everyone to appreciate their mothers, for all the sacrifices, the love,
A day for gratitude.
universal gratitude.
Yeah.
And she became absolutely determined to make it happen.
Which kicked off this pretty relentless campaign, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. She
Right.
started writing letters. So many letters.
To who? Like politicians, community leaders.
Yep, leaders, influential people, anyone she thought could help. She organized small celebrations locally. She just kept pushing, driven by this core belief that motherhood needed to be recognized.
That takes real dedication.
Incredible dedication, especially because it wasn't easy. She faced a lot of resistance.
People didn't get it.
Some didn't, yeah. Indifference, bureaucracy. Some just dismissed the idea. Why do we need a special day for that?
So her perseverance is key here.
Totally. She just kept going despite the pushback.
And slowly, it started catching on.
Slowly but surely, communities began to embrace the idea. It grew beyond just Anna's personal tribute.
People connected with that feeling of wanting to appreciate their own mothers.
Exactly. The momentum built up. More and more people started supporting.
Until the big moment.
The pivotal moment, yes. 1914, President Woodrow Wilson.
He made it official.
He did. He officially declared the second Sunday in May as Mother's Day, a national holiday in the U.S.
Wow. That must have felt like a huge victory for Anna. All that work paid off.
A massive triumph for her dedication, absolutely.
Now, it gets interesting when you look globally because it's not the same everywhere, is it?
Not at all. The
No.
U.S. has its tradition, cards, flowers, family time, usually that second Sunday in May.
But in the UK, for instance.
They have Mothering Sunday. It's often in March. And it has much older roots tied to religious traditions going back to church.
Okay, different origins there. And Mexico. I'll read about that too.
Yes. Dia de las Madres in Mexico is huge. It's always on May 10th, no matter what day of the week that is. Big celebrations, music, lots of festivities.
So the core idea is they're honoring mothers, but the way it's expressed really varies.
Definitely. Different cultures adapt it, weave it into their own traditions. But that central thread, appreciating a mother's love, That seems universal.
It really is powerful. One person's personal loss leading to this global day. And, this whole story connects really well to learning English for everyone listening. Well, think about Anna's idea. It started small, maybe seemed insignificant to some, but with effort, dedication, it blossomed into something huge.
Right, like planting a seed.
Exactly. And learning English can feel like that. Each new word, each phrase is like planting a seed. It might feel small initially.
But with consistent effort, it grows into something beautiful. Your fluency, your understanding, it all develops.
That's a great way to put it. Anna's dedication made her dream grow, and your dedication helps your English grow.
And speaking of growth, let's think about some key words from this story that are great for your vocabulary. We've talked about Anna's experience. 3 words really stand out: grief, compassion, and dedication.
Good ones. So grief, that deep sadness after losing someone, like Anna felt for her mother.
Precisely. Then compassion, that kindness, that understanding for others who are suffering, like Anne Rees Jarvis showed with her work club.
Right, and dedication. That's the strong commitment, the perseverance, like Anna's campaign for Mother's Day.
Exactly. These aren't just words, they're powerful human feelings and actions. So here's a little mission for you listening.
Okay, a challenge.
A mini mission. Try using one of those words, grief, compassion, or dedication, in a sentence about someone you admire.
Could be your mother, a friend, a teacher.
Anyone who embodies one of those qualities for you. And take it a step further, write your sentence in the comments below. It's a great way to practice actively.
Definitely. Okay, so Anna achieves her dream. Mother's Day is a national holiday. Success, right?
Well, yes and no. That's where the story takes another turn, a rather sad one, actually.
Oh, what happened?
As Mother's Day got more popular, it also got very commercialized.
Ah, flowers, cards, gifts, the industry side of it.
Exactly. Businesses saw a huge opportunity. And Anna, she started to see this happening, and she became deeply troubled by it.
That wasn't her vision at all.
Not even close. She wanted a day of sincere, heartfelt sentiment, not profit-driven obligation.
So the commercial aspect really overshadowed the original meaning for her.
Completely. It was the opposite of the tribute she intended for her mother's memory.
That must have been incredibly disillusioning.
It seems it was. And it led her to do something quite unexpected. She spent much of her later life, and apparently a lot of her own money,
Doing what?
campaigning against the commercialized Mother's Day, trying to fight the businesses profiting from it. She even, reportedly, tried to get the holiday abolished altogether at one point.
Wow. She tried to undo her own creation.
In a way, yes, because it had become something she didn't recognize and didn't endorse.
That's, wow, a truly bittersweet ending to her story.
It really is. A noble dream, born from love, ending up causing her so much distress because of how it evolved.
But her core message, that underlying idea, that still resonates, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That a mother's love is priceless, and it deserves genuine gratitude, something beyond just buying things. That message is still powerful.
And again, there's a connection here for language learners, isn't there?
I think so. Look at Anna's dedication. Even when fighting against the commercialization, she was dedicated to her original vision.
Right. And that kind of dedication is exactly what you need when learning English. Don't give up.
Exactly. Don't get discouraged if it feels slow sometimes. Remember Anna's initial quiet efforts?
Yeah, the small beginnings.
Leading to massive change. It's the same with learning. Every little step counts. Every word, every bit of practice. It all adds up.
It builds over time. Language, kind of like love or appreciation, isn't built overnight.
Well said. It grows gradually. But if you stick with it, you will see the progress. Persistence pays off.
Definitely. So if this story resonated with you, maybe taught you something new,
Or reminded you of one of those key words.
then share one new word you picked up from our chat today in the comments. Make it a small step on your English journey.
Yeah, we'd love to see that.
And if this content makes sense for you, like this video. That way, YouTube will know what inspires you and will bring you more stories that will help you grow your English naturally with heart and meaning.
Remember, your dreams, whatever they are, learning English included.
They deserve the same kind of dedication Anna Jarvis gave to hers. Keep learning. Keep believing.
Your story is just beginning.